Hey guys, thank you very much for joining. It is Tuesday, June 8th. If you're new here, my name is Brennan. I am a part-time reseller. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to try this maybe weekly, bi-weekly, depending on the progress and how everything goes. So I'm going to go through this whole Laserdisc buy and kind of take you guys along on this ride as I'm learning about Laserdiscs and how to list them, what to look for, how to ship them, all those types of stuff. Before I hop into this Excel, we're going to get a little nerdy with the Excel. Before I hop in here, I am going to ask a question. And of course, since we are dealing with laser discs, it's going to be another film question. So I'd like to know your favorite movie quote. This might be tough for some, so take some time, think about it. For me, it is,
Yeah, well, sometimes nothing can be a real cool hand.
it's from classic Cool Hand Luke, one of my top 5 favorite films of all time. A lot of you youths out there probably don't know anything about that film. There's no explosions, there's no tweeting, there's no TikTok. Just a great story, great acting, fantastic movie. Highly recommend checking it out. Anyway, let's hop into this Excel sheet here real quick. So this is just a very relatively basic Excel sheet that I've put together to go through all of these laser discs. So as you can see here, up here I've got what I paid, which is $1,100, and I've got this projected column here, and that's what I am putting based on the comps or what I am thinking I'm going to list to try to get, right? So as you can see, I paid $1,100 projected right now, and I have, let's see here, I have, wow, I've got 201 no, I have 200 individual laser discs in here listed right now to list that I'm trying to sell individually. If I get what I'm asking for on all of them, the projection right now is $3,003, which will be awesome. And I've still got 5 bins left to go through for individuals. And once I get done with the individuals, we'll go back through all of the other ones, and I'll likely start lotting those up probably in groups of 5, trying to get 25 to 50 per group, depending on how I put it together. So we'll see how that part works. But again, right now I'm just focused on the premium ones. And we'll go over some of these sales here in a little bit. So here we've got the actual sale costs or sale price. We were at $516.05 in sales, and that is on 22 items sold. We've got an average sale price of $23.46, and I've had these laser discs for 11 days. I just thought to add this in here just to see how long it takes for a lot of these things to move out. Um, and then we've got a profit. So right now we're still in the red. It's 6:45, so we've still got a ways to go, but I'm very confident that we're going to get there. So if anyone's curious as to how I do some of these formulas here, so for your item count sold, since I have this actual column, basically you can just do a count A. If you can see here, it's equals count A of this column. So anything that has a value in it will will trigger this formula to add um, will trigger this formula to add another number to it. So if I add 8 here, enter, you'll see it jumps to 23. All right, fun stuff. An average sale price is very simple. It's just you're just summing the total. So the item count that you've got sold, this column here, this 22, and we're just dividing the actual cost. So divide those two together, you get your average sale price. This days lapsed is kind of nerdy. I thought this was kind of fun to do. So I put in the date that I got everything, which was May 28th. And then there was a formula you can run called, it's just today. So if you run today, that's going to take today's date. And then you subtract a date from it, and that's going to give you your days lapse. So this will update every day. So when I come in here tomorrow, it'll move to day 12. Now, the only tricky thing here with this formula is you do have to format your cells and change it to a number because initially it gives you a date. So you have to change that to a number, but that's it. So that's the nerdy Excel stuff. It's a lot of fun. I like doing this. kind of, it helps to really keep track of a buy like this. I don't do this with every garage sale weekend purchase because that's just not quite, to me it's not worth it. Um, but for something like this, I do like to put each of those in here. So that's the spreadsheet. All right, so let's take a look at some of these laser discs that have sold. I'm not going to go through all 22. I'm just going to go through a handful here and kind of talk about what I've learned, at least from looking certain things up. So this one here, this nothing really special. It's just Southern Comfort. I don't know anything about that movie. That was $14. That really is not worth talking to you guys about. So I apologize. I just wasted 30 seconds of your time. Anyway, so initially when you're thinking about selling things like this, I think a lot of people were thinking that you want the big blockbuster hits, right? The movies that everyone's seen, that everyone knows and loves, right? And from what I've seen so far, that's not really the case. What I've seen is that you want the B movies, the horror, the weird stuff that the weird stuff where there are not a lot of them that were made. I think that's what I'm noticing so far. And again, I am not an expert. I am learning and just kind of trying to share what I've learned so far. So for example, this movie, Chained Heat. So these types of movies, if you think back to the Cinemax After Dark or like the Showtime type stuff, that's the type of stuff that I'm really looking for when I'm looking through these discs. Now I am looking everything up each one I am looking up, but when I see these, even if I don't see a sold comp for them, I'm still putting them in my premium bin and gonna at least try to get $10 out of them. So perfect example, this model by day. There were no sold comps, there were no active listings for this. There were no listings at all. So what I did is I see that on the cover it was Shannon Tweed, so I put in Shannon Tweed Laserdisc. A couple other ones came up, so I went off of those comps. I threw this one out there for 18 and it sold really quickly. So again, here we've got Maniac Cop, uh, just random things that you've probably never seen. And that's the type of stuff that seems to be doing really well. This Monster Club, never heard of this one, but I do know Elvira. So again, think of your traumas, your up all nights. That's the type of stuff. If you come across the bin of Laserdisc, that's the type of stuff that you want to look for. Now this is just a classic here, right? You got the Alamo, Little John Wayne. Everyone loves John Wayne. This is a big 3 disc set, so this is pretty nice. So this one did sell for 20. So the last thing I'm going to show you guys is the biggest sale so far. So this is Bringing Out the Dead. I saw one sold comp from overseas. It was new. It was a 300, I believe. So this one's used, so I went much lower than that. I went with 175, and it sold. I think it took about a day to sell. I still haven't looked into the why that this one is so sought after, or worth that much. My thought is that this was a probably one of the last movies put out on Laserdisc. If I'm reading this correctly, it was in 2000, so that could have something to do with it. But it's again, and I don't know if this ever made it to DVD. That's one thing I've heard is if you've got Laserdiscs that never made it to DVD, it makes them harder to find, obviously. So people are actively looking for things like that. So I think that's it for today's video. I really do appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys enjoy this. Please leave me some feedback, comments below on that, so I know whether or not to keep doing these. um, but yeah, I really do appreciate it. And until next time, stay curious.